Who's for the big day at Wembley to face mighty Wigan? It's the second semi-final of the Silk Cut Challenge Cup. We're just 80 minutes away from the Twin Towers. St Helens met Widnes in the semi-final here in 1989 and got through. And if you check the records, Widnes haven't won a Challenge Cup tie against the Saints for 61 years. So Central Park, ironically the home of the Cup finalists, is the scene for what has all the ingredients of a classic, and the crowd is anticipating one. Hello again. Nothing quite like Challenge Cup semi-final day. The atmosphere is intense, so too is the rivalry, and when you get two local sides coming face to face as we have today, literally anything can happen. Now before we go any further, let's check on how these two fine sides reach the semi-final stage. St Helens are here courtesy of wins against 2nd Division Swinton, 1st Division Wakefield and then 2nd Division Halifax. And ironically, the scoreline against Wakefield seems to indicate that the lesser lights gave them more trouble. Widnes, well, they've been in the mood for Wembley all season. The one-time Cup Kings, though, haven't been to the stadium for 7 years now. They got here by beating Doncaster, Barrow and Warrington, all away from home. So one of these two sides will be facing Wigan in the final at Wembley on April the 27th. Wigan themselves, they're sitting at home in their armchairs today, safe in the knowledge that they are through to the final, their 4th in successive years. And how did they get there? Well, they beat Oldham in the first semi-final just 7 days ago. Platt has moved into the second row, into the front row rather, and Clark fills in the second row. Little chip ahead from Gregory. That's the first try. Sean Edwards, the scorer. Gregory, the architect. Beautiful chip through by Andy Gregory. Dermot, Gregory, Hanley. Well, he might have a knee injury, but Hanley is in for a vital try. Wigan in possession. Gregory, ball goes to ground, bounces kindly though, and here's another chance for them. Iro! Edwards to Gregory. Oh, and he's given the ball away to Clark. Now has Brett Clark got the legs of Andy Gregory? Well, he's got the support, and the support is there from Henderson, and Henderson is over for an Oldham try. Fieldhouse. Round, and Clark helps it forward, but it's bounced kindly for Botica. You can put the glasses down. Botica is in for a simple try. Hanley finds man of the match Gregory. He gives it to Goodway. Fully recovered from that broken arm now. There's the siren. Wigan are at Wembley again. And the brave effort from Oldham is over. Well, as ever, running the rule over today's semi-final is the former Great Britain international Mike Stevenson. And Mike, I know that you've got sympathy for semi-final losers like Oldham. You know the feeling yourself.
Yeah, it's probably the worst thing in the world. The dressing room is so down, it's so sad, so empty. And you know that you're not going to the Twin Towers.
Well, who do you think will be going to the Twin Towers today?
I think Widnes. I think their forward power will be far too strong for St Helens. And I think St Helens have made a huge mistake in leaving Groves out.
The next 80 minutes will tell us. This is the side then that coach Mike McLennan hopes will take St Helens to Wembley. The Australian Phil Vevers is the full-back. Alan Hunt is on the wing, 6 tries in his last 6 games. New Zealander Tia Rapati takes his place in the centres alongside the Great Britain international Paul Loughlin. Les Quirk scored a try, a match winner in the corresponding fixture 2 years ago. And so much is expected from the half-back partnership of Paul Bishop and the Welshman Jonathan Griffiths. Jonathan Neal gets his place at prop forward, and a surprise at hooker, Bernard Dwyer is preferred to Paul Groves. Former Great Britain international Kevin Ward is the other prop forward in 10. Big John Harrison was 11. George Mann, the Kiwi, completes the second row. And the captain, another New Zealander, Shane Cooper, is the loose forward. And the coach is Mike McLennan. Big day for Jonathan Davies, of course. Would love to get to Wembley if he possibly can. This is the side that he and coach Doug Lawton hopes will take him there. Stuart Spruce is at full-back for the injured Alan Tate. Welshman John Devereux is on the wing. 18 tries from him this season. Andy Currier is in the centres, alongside the Welshman Jonathan Davies, who's in a rich vein of form. Martin Afire has scored 44 tries this season. He wears 5. And it's a brotherly combination at half-back for Widnes. David Hume, the captain, and his younger brother Paul, the scrum half. Kurt Sorensen has never been to Wembley in a glittering career. Phil McKenzie is the hooker. He's such an important member of this Widnes side. And S&A for Milo is the prop forward in 10. Watch for his bursts. Now, Richard Ers is the second-row man who was sent off 2 years ago. He partners Emosi Kaloto, and Les Holiday completes the lineup at loose forward, and the coach is Doug Lawton. Big day for the players, big day for this man too. John Holsworth, the referee. He had control of the semi-final between these two sides 2 years ago, and then of course sent Richard Ers off, and St Helens got to Wembley. Can they repeat it today? Tia Rapati with the first touch for St Helens. That's Bernard Dwyer, the dummy half. Swinging arm in the tackle. It was John Harrison who had hold of it, and Emosi Kaloto with the swinging arm, and John Holsworth saying he saw that one in the opening seconds.
Well, I think we'll see quite a lot of that this afternoon. It really will be a tough encounter. Widnes have got a huge pack, but I'm sure that St Helens will be equal to the task this afternoon.
Loughlin's penalty, it hasn't found touch, it's only found a fire. Unfortunately for St Helens, Rapati was watching him all the way. This is for Milo. Some bone-crunching tackles going in here early on. It is the semi-final of the Cup, you wouldn't expect anything else. St Helens offside at the play the ball.
No doubt about it, Shane Cooper more than eager to get involved in the tackling. And that's obviously the tactics by St Helens. They really want to get in there and mix it and match it as quickly as possible.
And Jonathan Davis decides that he will take a pot shot at goal here. It's well within his range. In great form with the boot. I make it actually 86 goals he's scored this season. 24 tries. 6 tries, 9 goals, and a couple of drop goals in his last 3. So Jonathan Davis has this opportunity to give Widnes a flying start in the semi-final. He'll take his time, he'll measure the kick, and he's got to get it over the top of those 3 right away. Huge crowd inside Central Park today, approaching 20,000, and that's the range that Davis has. He's hit the post! And so the early chance for Widnes goes.
Certainly does. That would have been a huge psychological lift to the Widnes side. Just shaving the post there.
Back in goal-kicking form, though, Jonathan Davis. In the last match on the Sports Channel, of course, that we featured Widnes, Davis scored 4 tries. He could hardly kick a goal that night against Bradford. But he has the kicking responsibility here in the semi-final. That's Kaloto. Widnes seeing plenty of it early on. Bad pass, though, for Milo, sweeps up. But look how eager St Helens are to get to the ball.
They certainly are. They're moving up so quickly. And Widnes, they have the nerves. They're jittery.
Richard Ers, wearing number 11. The man who was sent off in this corresponding semi-final 2 years ago. He's saying in the papers today he wants desperately to get to Wembley and make amends. Huge kick ahead by Davis, collected by Les Quirk. And Devereux and Currier have him.
That's going to be one of the major factors of this game. Whoever takes control of that kicking department, I'm sure Widnes will be looking towards Davis for those towering kicks downfield.
There's Harrison making a good run from deep, collecting the ball. 6 foot 7 inches tall, John Harrison, tallest man in the game. That's Jonathan Neal, the prop. Run from him, preferred to Paul Groves. A lot of people raised an eyebrow at Mike McLennan's decision before the start of this game. Kicking ahead on the last tackle, though, Saints. Devereux has it for Widnes. Good chasing by George Mann.
Well, it's not really a specialised position anymore in the hooking role. He's obviously gone for defensive quality.
And that sort of defence every time Martin Offiah gets the ball. But the referee's whistle has sounded, and he wants a word with Paul Bishop and also with Shane Cooper. And I think Bishop said something there. Yes. Obviously some call, and the referee didn't like it.
Well, that was silly play by Bishop. They really were moving up quickly, putting a lot of pressure on the Widnes attack. And to give away silly penalties, they can do without that.
Here come Widnes again then. That's for Milo. Mackenzie is the dummy half. Coloto switches the direction of play. A thundering challenge by George Mann on David Hume. And George Mann won't let David Hume regain his feet. And it's another penalty to Widnes for holding down. The St Helens public, and there are many thousands of them here, don't like it, but perhaps we'll see why.
Look at this tackle. Oh, dearie me. Oh, that really is a bone cruncher. And I'm surprised that he was eager to get up off the floor. I'm surprised that he could get up off the floor.
A really big hit on David Hume then, the captain for the day. Man of the match in the semi-final defeat here in 1989 for Widnes was David Hume. And that penalty that has been conceded gives Davis another attempt to get the scoreboard clicking early on here. Just over 5 minutes of the semi-final gone. And Davis, he's about 10 metres further forward this time. But it still will be a good kick if he gets it. Slightly more to the right this time. Here it comes. Oh, he's hit the post again. And this time the ball has bounced back into play. Well, you could have got big odds on that, Mike.
Unbelievable miss there, but St Helens can thank their lucky stars, really, because silly penalties, they should have been penalised for him, and Widnes should have been 4 points in front.
Could be costly at the end of the day. Kevin Ward in possession for St Helens. A Wembley winner with Castleford in 1986. Ferocious battle going on in the forwards. It's fierce, Mike.
It certainly is. There's no love lost between the two packs.
Another penalty, this time for St Helens, for Milo hanging on that time. Not allowing George Mann to get back to his feet after the tackle was made.
Well, referee Holdsworth here, Johnny on the spot. Now he's got St Helens a couple of times already, and he's making it very clear to the players that he will not allow that to continue.
So I think it's the first time that Saints find themselves in the Widnes half of the field. Bishop gives it to Harrison. Good driving runs early on from John Harrison. Now George Mann. Oh, he brushed Davis aside then. And eventually, Alan Hunt was forced into touch. 0-0 in the semi-final.
The strength of man there quite evident, but rather surprising is that the Widnes defence, they're not moving forward. They're hanging back and allowing St Helens to run at them. That's a dangerous ploy.
Well, that looked like a knock-on. St Helens are appealing about that. The referee, well, he said that it wasn't. And so Widnes are able to break from defence with Stuart Spruce.
Well, I don't know about a knock-on, Eddie, but he certainly didn't play the ball.
David Hume trying to conjure something up from the standoff half role that he occupies today. Now Mackenzie, now Courier to Devereux. Good hand off by Devereux, but Dwyer gets him at the second attempt. Paul Hume from dummy half, back to Davis. Dwyer tried to close him down then. Davis still going, that's a good kick. Fevers allows it to bounce dangerously. And Sorensen has him, but that's good play from the fullback, Fed Alan Hunt.
Excellent play from both sides. Good kick, a good run out by the fullback. But St Helens are keeping this ball alive.
It's a great start to the semi-final. What an intense period of this match we've seen. Stakes are high. Wembley on the 27th of April. Wigan waiting for them beneath the Twin Towers. Everyone in rugby league talking about the dream ticket of Widnes and Wigan for Wembley. But St Helens, Mike, they're hell-bent on spoiling that party.
They certainly are, and they've opened out very impressively indeed. But Widnes have to get this defensive pattern sorted out. They're coming up in dribs and drabs. They're not moving up as a one line, and that's going to cause them a lot of problems.
Stuart Spruce then in possession for Widnes. They are the Cup Kings of old, having gone to Wembley 7 times in 10 years, but they've not been to the Twin Towers for the last 7 years. So they're desperate to get there. So too are St Helens. This is Richie Ayres. It's a great driving run from him. But Saints would love to get to Wembley purely and simply because Wigan are the opposition. When last they were there, Wigan hammered them 27-0. It's a day their fans want to eradicate from their memory. This is the last tackle. Davis's kick. Good take, Vivers. Watched it all the way.
Well, it may have been a high kick from Davis, but it really was wasted. It was too far forward.
This is George Mann in possession for St Helens, just outside his own quarter line. Cooper, the captain. Loughlin, good ball. Loughlin almost sold Widnes the dummy. Griffiths from dummy half. Bishop. That's a good pass to Kevin Ward. I'll say Kevin Ward looks in the mood today. Last tackle. Vivers to kick. Spruce tidying up. Devereux let it go over his head. A good chasing from St Helens. Quirk and Griffiths. Nothing to choose in the possession time. St Helens just 60 seconds more.
Very good chasing game there by the St Helens players, but notice they're moving up there. They're putting a lot of pressure. They're not allowing Widnes any room whatsoever.
Bishop stolen the ball. Referee says it was legal. Famila wasn't grounded. Here come the Saints. Griffiths taking Davis with him on his back. They're great friends off the pitch. Best of enemies today. Rapati, Bishop, Dwyer. Rapati again. Now Jonathan Neal. Stopped by Mackenzie and Sorensen. Dwyer, Bishop. Paul Bishop trying to open the Widnes defence up. Now Dwyer. This is Harrison.
Widnes defence going far too high. They're allowing this St Helens team to go forward.
Cooper. Griffiths. Little kick through, came off Davis. Vivers has it, but the referee says knock on. Scrum down.
Well, there saw the referee, the finger pointing that he's taking the first knock on. But this was a beautiful kick. Davis couldn't do anything about it. They tried to retrieve it. Now they've claimed that Paul Loughlin was the man guilty of knocking on.
Widnes have the possession from the scrum. A kick really just to relieve the pressure for the moment. Saints have it back with Vivers, and Davis was hurt there. Jonathan Davis had hold of Vivers' shirt tails and he's gone down injured. Meanwhile, play continues.
Well, let's hope that not too bad. He's a key man on the Widnes side, especially for his kicking game.
He shrugged away the attentions of the trainer. Wants to carry on. Ward, what a good run down the middle from Ward. Bishop. Cooper. And Mann.
Well, there you see the Widnes defence once again just hanging back. They're really not getting into this game at all.
Huge kick from Bishop. That really puts the pressure on. The ball's broken free. My word, that was very nearly the first try for Alan Hunt.
And he knows it. Just got his fingertips to it. But it was a great kick. The pressure, the kick by Bishop. Spruce was a little bit all at sea. And Hunt, oh! Knock on, though.
Bishop tangling with Paul Hume. Penalty at the scrum to St Helens for the use of the elbow. So, although it's a penalty at the scrum, because it's foul play, St Helens can kick for goal.
Bad mistake there by Hume. He should have gone to ground. They had the possession. But the terrier like Bishop will certainly give him a lot to think about this afternoon. And quite frankly, Eddie, St Helens appear to have come here to win, and Widnes looks shell-shocked.
Paul Loughlin, the Great Britain Test centre. 2 goals in the semi-final victory here 2 years ago. As you can see, in good kicking form this season with 82. Scored a try as well in each of his last 2 matches, but he'd love to pop this one over. It's kickable. And Loughlin's kicked it. First blood to the Saints. The crowd is on its feet.
And so they should be. A real psychological lift.
St Helens 2, Widnes 0 then. 2 penalties from Jonathan Davis go begging. St Helens have their first opportunity and Loughlin strikes. And almost midway through this first half. They say in a match like this, Mike, time flies, and so it does.
Well, under this intensity, really has been some tough exchanges, especially in the forwards. But it's interesting to note that whenever St Helens are on the defence, they're really giving the treatment to the key players. They're just shutting out Davis, O'Fire, the key men.
Great run from Mann, that was too. Here's Ward. There's another great run down the middle. The forwards for St Helens are bossing it, and that's great stuff from Ward. He released Bernard Dwyer, and for Milo having to work overtime to pull him down. Here's Jonathan Neal. Good tackle, Coloto, but Neal unloads to Griffiths. Now it's with Rapati. Ball spilled out of his hands. Widnes have it back with David Hume.
They're certainly finding the gaps. That really was a beautiful pass there by Griffiths.
Well, Widnes, this team of all talents, they look as though they're blowing a bit hard. I think St Helens have shocked them. The fire was nearly away, and my word, Alan Hunt was in on him there as he lay on the floor, and penalty, says referee John Holsworth.
Well, he certainly copped one for his corner, but I reckon that penalty could have gone the other way. Now the ball goes out to O'Fire. He's ankle tacked by Hunt, and he goes to ground. Now he makes no movement from this point on to try to make any progress, and quite frankly, that could have been a voluntary tackle.
Referee Holsworth reads it the other way. So Widnes off the hook. The St Helens supporters not happy. For Milo again, clinging on. Mackenzie Finds Paul Hume. This is Holiday. There's Holiday. Back in the side after being substitute at Featherstone last weekend. Must be a doubt about his fitness. No doubt about this fella's fitness, though. It's Ayres. Good tackling, Vivas. Widnes still not finished, though. Sorensen. Good tackling, Ward. Paul Hume in support. Great defence from St Helens.
That's the best we've seen from Widnes so far. And Ayres is one of the few forwards that is getting involved.
Davis. Holiday again. Long pass to a fire. And Alan Hunt has him. Great St Helens defence. And a penalty to St Helens. A fire not releasing the ball on the sixth tackle. Throwing it away. He was sin-binned for that very offence at Featherstone last weekend.
Silly mistake there, but that just gives you some indication that Widnes really haven't got their act together. They should have used it, the last tackle, a little bit more than that. They should have at least put the kick in.
I must say, Mike, they do look out of sorts, but is that because the team in red and white from St Helens are playing so well?
They certainly are. They're moving up very quickly. They're not allowing anything that Widnes to get into the rhythm. And that's what semi-final football's all about.
Rapati and another driving run. The difference, I think, between the two sides, Saints are making progress every time they have the ball.
And as I keep mentioning, it does not surprise me, because this Widnes defence is, look at it, they're just hanging back. They do not want to know.
Cooper. Griffiths. Good kick ahead from Griffiths. Has he got the speed to win the race? Good tidying up by Spruce. But the first try-scoring opportunity goes to Saints and the Welshman Griffiths.
Plenty of talent on show there. But as you mentioned, Eddie, wonderful play by the fullback, Stuart Spruce, and he had to be there. That was a lovely kick through.
Saints have the ball, but not for long. Mann has knocked it forward. And that was on the first tackle, and no wonder George Mann holds his head in his hands.
What a glorious chance wasted.
What a good game this is, though. Two fierce local rivals. A repeat of that semi-final on this ground 2 years ago that Saints won against all the odds to go to Wembley. And by the looks of things here so far, they're in the mood to spring another surprise today. Widnes just can't get going. Hume. That's a good break for Milo. But as soon as he reached the ball, George Mann reached him. Mackenzie. That's a good ball. Ayres. That wasn't. And that's a great tackle from Hunt. He's getting through some work on a fire. Davis. High kick from Davis. Vivas will have to be brave, and is.
Well, that was a better bomb by Davis there. He allowed his team to be able to get to the ball, but good work by Vivas.
Jonathan Griffiths. Tackled by Jonathan Davis, the two former Welsh Rugby Union internationals, slugging it out in midfield. And so far, honours to Griffiths, in my book.
Yes, he's showing a lot of skills. And I'm sure that the coach of Widnes, Doug Lawton, will be trying to get the message out to Jonathan Davis to produce some of that magic we've seen over the last couple of weeks. They certainly need it.
Shane Cooper. That's a lovely little run. Vivas. What a great servant Phil Vivas is. Cooper again. Now Ward. Taking Kaloto on. Last tackle. Kevin Ward looks back to his best. Bishop. Good kick under pressure. Devereux has it for Widnes. 2-0. St Helens ahead. Spruce. Filling in for the injured Alan Tate. And receiving a facial massage.
Well, really, St Helens have been so dominant, and yet allowing Widnes to get back into this game by silly penalties. Now, this really is stupid play by Bishop. There you are, he's trying to get, look, hands all over his face. Doesn't hurt the fella, but yet he penalises his team. Stupid.
Paul Bishop, the little number 7, is lining up there in the left of your picture. Was at Wembley last season with Warrington against Wigan. Doesn't remember too much of the final, I don't think. He came off with concussion that day, but he'd love to get back there to have another crack at the men from Central Park. And this time, of course, with St Helens. Caloto. Courier is the acting halfback. That looked forward and was. Courier swung round about 180 degrees then before releasing the ball, and Holiday had moved forward.
Well, I don't know what the game plan was from Dougie Lawton, but I can assure you that the players aren't sticking to it. Far too much one-out football. They look as though they're completely lost out there.
Griffiths releases and loses the ball. Now, can Widnes capitalise? Good tackle by Rapati on Davis. Ofaya has come off the wing looking for the ball, has given it now to Ayres. Paul Groves about to come on. Caloto.
Well, it surprised me that they didn't use Groves for the kickoff, but it's obviously a ploy now by McLennan.
McKenzie holds it up for Milo to come steaming in. Look at the fire there. He's coming off the wing. He's been starved of the ball. He wants to see more of it. Holiday. Paul Groves played at Wembley in 1989. Ready to come on as soon as there's a break in play. McKenzie. His chip ahead. Vivas has it and throws it dead.
Well, that's the first real bit of enterprise we've seen from McKenzie. Good little run from the dummy half. And really, if they can stop him, then they virtually stop the Widnes forwards.
26 minutes of the semi-final gone then. And St Helens make a change. Number 8, Jonathan Neal, goes off. And number 15, Paul Groves, comes on. And it's St Helens drop out from underneath their own posts, because Vivas had to throw that ball dead, and it's not a great dropout either. Widnes have it back. Richie Ayres tripped Neil Holding 2 years ago, sent off. The blackest day of his career. Devereux riding a high tackle. That's better play from the Welsh winger. Sorensen. Widnes back in the danger zone. Good ball to Courier, but good tackling from Ward, and the job completed by Harrison. McKenzie again, changes direction, finds Holiday. There's on the blind side. Released the pass, McKenzie just couldn't get it, knock on.
Well, the rest of the Widnes side should take a leaf out of Ayres' book, because he has been one of the few Widnes players to really look as though he's interested in this game. They look quite tired to me.
2-0, St Helens lead. They're in possession again with Griffiths. Making good darting runs, Jonathan Griffiths. Cooper to Vivas. Look at the amount of progress St Helens make every time they have the ball, and they're keeping it alive.
It's a surprise to me, and I'm sure to this huge crowd here, that St Helens are not even further ahead.
Bernard Dwyer. They've had all the pressure, St Helens, they really have. Whenever Widnes have shown in an attacking sense, they've managed to stand firm. And look at the way Ward is battling down the middle. This is turning into a great first half display for St Helens. Joe Grimmer waiting to come on. Spruce collects. Good tackle, man. Well, Spruce felt that, of that there's no doubt. Man says he got the football legally. John Holdsworth disagrees because he used his elbow.
Well, that's the second crunching tackle we've seen from Man. And that's the type of defence that's surprising me. St Helens not noted for their defence, but they've certainly got it right today.
Joe Grimmer preparing to come on. They've not been able to get him into the action yet. Half an hour of this first half of the Silk Cut Challenge Cup semi-final. The second one has elapsed and St Helens are ahead by 2 points to nil. A Paul Loughlin penalty. And Widnes, well, they look to me as though they've lost their way to Wembley here. Holiday. The ball has been spilled and Paul Groves has it back. Loughlin. Loughlin breaking the tackles, but on that occasion he went without the ball, I think. Yes, Milo has it.
That was a bad mistake by St Helens then.
Coloto brought down. Mackenzie's the dummy half. Sorensen. Mid-30s, Kurt Sorensen. And he would love to get to Wembley. But a penalty. Again, for chit-chatting off the ball.
Well, another silly penalty by St Helens. And really, they're becoming their own worst enemy. Witness it out of all sorts of sorts. They've not got into the swing of things, and yet St Helens are allowing them back into the game. They really should have stamped their authority fully and had this game by the throat.
Widnes in the quarter, and that's dangerous for St Helens, but good tackling again. Groves and Vivas wrapping for Milo up. Great to see Central Park packed to the rafters for this one. Richie Ayres. Good tackling, Bishop. Oh, and he was kicked then by Ayres, and that's another penalty to St Helens. Kicking out, and of course Richie Ayres, number 11, sent off by that man 2 years ago.
Well, is this the start of the silly season? Unbelievable play there. Ayres has been one of the men that's been at least running forward, and to do this, that is just stupidity.
Well, the Saints fans are singing. The Saints are marching on all the way to Wembley, they think. Early days yet, 2 points the difference. But the early signs here at Central Park for them are good. Holiday pulled off by Doug Lawton. It was, he said, his one slight worry that Holiday might not be fit enough after injury. But Dougie Lawton said yesterday that Holiday would let nobody down. The Widnes coach, I don't think he's liking what he's seeing, Mike.
No, I think he's got a few words of wisdom waiting for those guys at half-time in the dressing room. And I think, as you mentioned, Eddie, the gamble with using Holiday has not paid off. He's the man that gets everything going with the ball skills, but he's shown none out there today.
Davis thundered to the floor by Griffiths. There's Grimmer, first touch for him, one of the hard men of the game. Joe Grimmer, number 15 of Widnes. Here's another of them, Sorensen. But St Helens are keeping him quiet today. Grimmer, a fire, that's better. But a fire's going down blind alley, so he changes direction. But as you said, Mike, early on, so rightly, the danger men Davis, Afire and company being snuffed out.
They certainly are, and it's all due to this defence. They're moving up and they're trying to channel them, and Widnes are virtually left with nothing else but to keep switching the ball back inside.
Vivers has spilled it. Luckily for him, Alan Hunt was there. Alan Hunt brought down in the in-goal area. Be a dropout from underneath their own posts.
Good thinking by Widnes there, electing for the kick because they really have had a few problems. Courier could see no one at home here. Now Vivers was out of position. Here you see him coming across. He has to dive to get to it, misses it, and thankfully for St Helens, Hunt was the man to take it out of problems.
Widnes have it back with Paul Hume. Of course, they've had to rejig a little bit with Alan Tate out and with Tony Myler out from the standoff half berth. But with 5 minutes of normal time in this first half to go, look at the way St Helens are shoving Sorensen back towards his own line.
Well, there again we saw a typical example of Widnes bringing it back inside, and again. Don't they realise they've got a man that scored so many tries out wide? It's beyond belief.
George Mann. Widnes have seen 2 minutes more of the ball. St Helens have done a little more with it, courtesy of their forwards, who really are driving holes in this Widnes defence. Bishop. First mistake of the day from Harrison.
No doubt about it, Harrison knocked on Bishop in an offside position. And this could give Widnes the breathing space that they need, because there's a lot to be done at the half-time break. It's not the Widnes we've seen over the past couple of months. And quite frankly, Eddie, they must feel themselves very lucky indeed to be only 2 points down, and Davis with a chance to square it all.
Well, he's had 2 penalty attempts, as we've seen. Both have hit the post, and they've not gone over. Now this is the easiest of them all so far. Just steadying himself, taking a few deep breaths to calm the nerves, get the sights in. It's dead set centre. Looks good. He's hit the post again. This time it's bounced over. Unbelievable. Well, you get millions to one that he'd hit the same post 3 times in the first half of a semi-final.
And nearly in the same position.
Here it is again, hanging in the wind. Well, he must have that spot marked. But this time it drops over and the flags go up. He breathes a sigh of relief.
Not only does Davis breathe a sigh of relief, I'm sure that all the Widnes fans and the player and the coach, and that really is a bad mistake. That was bad play there by the defensive side. Afire and Courier, obviously no one called. And that just, well, tops it off for me in this first half. Widnes do not seem to be in this game at all.
Davis under pressure, shaped to kick. Cooper has him. Kaloto. I was about to say we've not seen many driving runs from the big Tongan today, but there's one. Perhaps that penalty goal and the fact that they are still in this semi-final has suddenly got home to Widnes. Good ball, Ayres.
That's much better from Widnes, as you mentioned. The 2 points could have lifted them. They'll have time to get it all together in the half-time break. And one wonders, Eddie, will St Helens, can they fold?
Well, can they keep this up? That must be the question the supporters are asking inside the stadium now as we approach half-time. It's 2 apiece. Widnes for the first time, look as though they might have an appetite for this semi-final. But it's Saints who are still in possession. Bishop. Kevin Ward. Looking to unload all the time. I don't think he wanted to let that one go, but he got away with it. Bishop again. And Griffiths. It's a good ball to Rapati. Good tackling by Davis. Last tackle. Bishop kicks again. It's a high kick to test Spruce. Well fielded by the youngster. He prefers playing full-back. Played scrum half the last couple of times, Stuart Spruce. My word, he fielded that one well.
Beautiful take there. Took off the pressure. And you get the feeling that at last a bit of confidence coming into the Widnes side.
There's Grimmer. He's broken a tackle or two since he came on. He's squaring up to Bishop there. It's a good deep kick. Oh, well fielded that one by Vivers. A great servant to St Helens, Phil Vivers. The siren sounded, but the referee will let this go on until the next tackle. And now it's half-time. So St Helens 2, Widnes 2, a half of penalties. One from Lachlan for St Helens, one from Widnes and Jonathan Davis. 2-2 at the break, all to play for.
Back to Central Park, the weather just closing in a touch. It's beginning to drizzle here now. 2 points all at half-time. It's slightly more close than it was at the half-time stage of the semi-final just 7 days ago when Wigan led by 20 points to 0. But Mike Stevenson, who's watching alongside me, we wouldn't have expected anything different. It's going to be a tight battle, this.
Yeah, it's a very tough game indeed. It was expected. A bit disappointed with the Widnes defence. They're not moving up as quick as they should. St Helens are on the run.
What an intense battle it is, though, and St Helens look like they're pumped up for Wembley.
They certainly do. They had 2 clear-cut chances, and they nearly pulled them off.
Well, they did. The first one, a bomb that went down towards the Widnes try line.
Yeah, it was a good bomb by Bishop, and Hunt was just unlucky just to get his fingertips to it. If he got his hands right, he could have scored there.
And the second one, a grubber kick through on the other side of the pitch, and again the Widnes defence had to be alert.
They certainly were. They were very slow in moving up once again. They took the opportunity, a nice little kick through, but good work by the fullback Spruce. He was on hand, he'd read it well.
Dougie Lawton said actually yesterday when I spoke to him, he expected Stuart Spruce, he could be the man of the match.
Well, he'll have plenty of work in the second half, that's for sure, but it really is a bone-crunching affair, isn't it?
It is. There's no quarter-ass, none given, but you wouldn't expect anything else with the biggest prize of the game at stake.
Yes, it's. I think that both sides will be really pumped up for the second 40. I think that both coaches will be wanting to put a little bit more intensity into it, especially in attack. And I think that Widnes wouldn't surprise me if they bring Jonathan Davis into the standoff role.
Are you a bit disappointed with Widnes because so much is expected of them?
Well, I think that's probably a psychological barrier that they have to overcome. St Helens come into it as the underdogs, and really they've been playing the better football. They haven't got the pressure on.
OK, well, let's now take a check on the First Division title race, because, of course, Widnes are going for the double, the League and Cup double at this stage, and Wigan, well, they most certainly are. Now, at the Easter weekend, this is the way the First Division table is shaping up. Widnes, the leaders, with 34 points. Hull in second place with 32. Castleford, they're third with 32, but they slipped a bit with their defeat on Good Friday at Bradford. And Wigan, they are closing in. They're in fourth place with 31 points from 20 matches. They've got a lot of work to do to win the title, but my word, they did so well in the victory at Warrington on Tuesday night.
Warrington came out with a task of ending a 10-match Wigan unbeaten run. The scale of that task became rapidly clear. Just 3 minutes gone and Ellery Hanley scores the first of 2 tries that take him to 200 in his First Division career. Wigan's determination shown by their ability to jump on any mistake. When Andy Gregory's kick through was dropped by Mark Forster, ready to pounce was Joe Lydon. 2 Wigan tries in the first 9 minutes. And yet again, Frano Bottica's kicking was impressive. On the night, 5 out of 5 for the prolific New Zealander. Warrington's David Lyon couldn't quite match Bottica's example. But the Wire did have something to show from the first half. They take advantage of a rare moment of Wigan indecision and present a try for Dwayne Mann. From the touchline, David Lyon showed he can kick with the best, sometimes. But Wigan continued to dominate going into the second half. Even though Lydon was off, his replacement on the wing, David Myers, completed the scoring. Wigan 26-8 winners, and still incredibly on course in the fixture-congested run-in for the double.
It looks like an impossible job for any side to do, and you know, I think it'll be very hard for us to just keep rolling along and winning, because I don't see the problem as a motivational type problem. I see it as a fact, the more rugby league you play, the more chance you've got of being injured, and our guys are certainly going to have to get out there for the next 2.5, 3 weeks, 2 and 3 times a week, or 4 times a week, as you've said. So it's certainly a tough task that we've been set, but with this side, anything's possible.
How big a plus for you was it actually getting to Wembley again?
Well, it was one of our goals at the start of the season. We wanted to get to Wembley first, and we felt if we get to Wembley, we've got a very good chance at winning at Wembley. So our form through the Challenge Cup games was very, very good, and we've been able to take that form into the club game. So it's helped us quite a bit to to play those Challenge Cup games and actually get to Wembley.
But while Wigan look to Wembley and celebrate, Warrington are left to look anxiously at the relegation places. Peter Hutton for the Sports Channel.
Wigan winning at Warrington on Tuesday night, and they kept up the intensity for the First Division Championship with a good win at Featherstone on Good Friday. They now, as we saw, are in 4th place. It's building up to a great end of the season. It's building up to a great run into Wembley too. 40 minutes away for either Widnes or St Helens. Who's for the Twin Towers? We'll find out after this break.
Welcome back to Central Park. 40 minutes then between St Helens or Widnes and Wembley. Who's your money on, Mike?
Well, Widnes can come back into this game. They were very fortunate that St Helens didn't post more points. But I really feel that it's the first 10 minutes of this second half. Whoever takes control, I think, will run away with it.
Devereux in possession for Widnes. Kaloto started to run strongly towards the end of that first half. Then mostly Kaloto. Paul Hume now. Still, St Helens' defence is safe and sound, but they've got to get out of the way and let the tackle player regain his feet.
Well, that was a problem that St Helens had in the first half, giving away those silly penalties, and that would not have pleased their coach one bit.
It's a much tighter semi-final than 2 years ago. In 1989, the lead changed hands 5 times before Les Quirk's touchdown sealed the victory for St Helens, and they went to Wembley. It's 2-2 here, of course, at the start of this second half. For Milo.
You really get the feeling that whoever scores the first try will take control. It's that tight.
The Hume brothers on a run around. This is Ayres. Good tackling, Cooper. The job completed by Harrison. Sorensen. Every honour in the game for Kurt Sorensen, but never been to Wembley. Now Grimmer. Good driving run down the middle. Good support too arrives from Kaloto. Still going Kaloto. Gives it to Devereux. But Quirk had him. And Lachlan completed the job. Last one. Davis. Trying to angle a kick across the face of the post. He got it all wrong. And it goes dead.
Has not been Jonathan Davis's day. A poor kick. He would have wanted better from that.
Alan Hunt trying to make ground up towards the Widnes line. Now Harrison
What a big game, Harrison. So is this fellow, Kevin Ward.
Well, I mentioned it in the first half. Widnes were hanging back and allowing St Helens to run, and they've started to do exactly that in the second half.
Bishop's little chip over the top. Hume didn't read it. George Mann did. This is a great attack for St Helens to keep the ball alive to Griffiths. Jonathan Griffiths has scored a try for St Helens. And no wonder the St Helens fans are on their feet. Man of the match in the quarter-final. Griffiths has run in his 6th try of the season, and it couldn't have come at a better time. Is that the try that will take St Helens on the way to Wembley?
A killer blow to Widnes here, but full credit to Mann. He took the ball, took it on forward, well supported by this man, and fully deserved the try. Look at the big fellow. He threw the dummy, come back inside. This is wonderful support play by Griffiths. And look at the speed. He turns it on here. He knows he's got spruce for speed. The hooker came across, but far too late.
So there's a big conference going on underneath the posts. Widnes player Phil McKenzie looking a bit groggy after making that last-ditch effort to claw Jonathan Griffiths back. He failed. He's obviously received a bang. So he has received the treatment. And Paul Loughlin has this conversion attempt to give St Helens a bit of breathing space. If this goes over, the lead is 6 points. It's 8-2. Loughlin, sure-footed with the boot, adds the extra 2 to Jonathan Griffiths' try. And the former Llanelli player, a teammate of Jonathan Davis, perhaps has hit the first nail in the coffin of Widnes' Wembley hopes.
Well, it'll certainly have lifted the hopes of St Helens. There'll be a lot more spring in their eels now. And Widnes will have to start looking about making changes. They really haven't got it right in the half-back position. And I'm sure that Lawton will move Davis very shortly. He has not injected himself with the same skill and power that we've seen of late.
George Mann. Kevin Ward. Big hit from Coloto. Joe Grimmer had Ward round the ankles. Coloto came in upstairs. That's the last tackle. Widnes have done that stint well. For Bishop to kick. An unkind bounce for Devereux. And St Helens have moved up in numbers. Dwyer completes the job started by Griffiths.
And that'll be the tactics from St Helens from where on in. That 6-point cushion. They won't do anything spectacular. They'll go through just taking it steady, nothing silly, and play the game down in the Widnes half.
They really aren't giving Widnes an inch, are they?
No, I think it surprised a lot of people. It was one department that I thought St Helens could be wanting, and that was in their defensive qualities, but it's been superb this afternoon.
Davis's kick, that's going to have the legs of Vivas. It runs into touch. Super kick from Davis. Forces the pressure on St Helens, pushes them back towards their own try line, and that's better for Dougie Lawton.
Maybe that could be the key for Davis to fire.
Widnes winning the scrums, 5-4 now. Widnes keen to keep St Helens in the danger zone. Here's Harrison. He simply can't bring the big fella down without a lot of effort. George Mann, what a game he's having. Cooper. Ward, another of the heroes. Last tackle though. Widnes have confined them, done the job well. Bishop's kick. Devereux again. Devereux flattened Bishop off the ball as Bishop made a strike for the ball as it was laid on the ground at the play. The ball referee allows play to continue. George Mann's injured, he's hobbling for St Helens. For Milo.
Well, for once, the Widnes forwards coming forward with a little bit more intensity.
Grimmer. Widnes are back in the danger zone. David Hume, now Sorensen. A fire dragged back by Lachlan. By the collar, says the ref. Courier tries to change the direction of play. A fire's there. So too is Cooper. But a fire has him.
That was a neat kick by Courier. Back inside. It was a planned move. A fire had come in off the wing. Went down the middle. Here's the replay. They knew it was on. Here comes the fire. But the captain, Cooper, equal to the task. And well tackled by the Widnes flanker.
Widnes examining this St Helens defence now. This is their most concerted attacking effort of the match. And if St Helens can hold on here, they could be onto something big.
Well, the thing is, Widnes really haven't worked to get this overlap. Once again, we see them bringing the play back into crisscrossing pattern. Really, the forwards haven't taken it blind. They haven't really worked to try to get an overlap. And there again, we see the ball being switched back inside. Surely they've got to change the tactics.
Mackenzie, a fire. Great tackle from Cooper. So far, the Saints' defence standing up to the task. Mackenzie. Devereux loses it. Griffiths has it. Well, it's much better from Widnes now. But they should have got over. They've had 12 attempts now. And St Helens have kept them out.
It's important that Widnes keep St Helens down in their own quarter now. Hope that the kick is a poor one.
Harrison. Each time they have the ball, though, these big St Helens forwards, they're making ground. Bishop at dummy half, last tackle. It's back to Lachlan to kick. And a fire has it for Widnes. And Cooper, who was tackled by a fire a few moments ago behind his own line, repeats the compliment. Devereux.
Well, there you can see we've seen O'Fire and Devereux, both wingers. They've moved inside, trying to get a little bit of pace into this attack.
Mackenzie, the architect. For Milo, the runner. Courier, the supporter. And Spruce. Still Stuart Spruce. Desperate defence. The ball's gone back. That's the last tackle. Spruce just checking it's not 6 more, and it isn't. Quarter of an hour of this second half gone. Davis's high kick, one to test Phil Vivers, and the Australian up to it. He's had a great game at full-back, Phil Vevers.
What a tremendous take, and what a great kick by Davis. That really was pressure. Just look at this man, eye on the ball, never worried about anyone supporting to him. He has to have both feet over the line to defuse the bomb. The referee is correct.
Widnes come rolling forward again. Sorensen unloads to Hume, but great defence once again from St Helens.
There's certainly no love lost between these two sides.
Well, that's twice that Mackenzie has done that. Brought play to a halt and then tried to switch the direction, but St Helens have it back. Bishop. What a good run from Bishop. Standing in the tackle, where's the support? He's found it with Griffiths. Griffiths' kick over the top. This is a race here between Griffiths, Davis and Afire wins that one. But Jonathan Griffiths is certainly taking the spotlight away from Jonathan Davis today.
Wonderful play by St Helens. 4 tackles ago, they were pressurised on their own quarter line. And a tremendous run by Bishop. He really has found the gaps. A darting run from the dummy half. There he goes. Look at the Widnes players. Not one went for the legs. Was left to Spruce to try to hold him. There was no support. He had all the time in the world. Widnes are coming back on side. There you see it. There's no one at home. The pace and the power, and it's left to Afire to defuse this situation. And Griffiths is having a great game.
Eight points to 2 then. St Helens are ahead. They produced the shock of the Challenge Cup of 1989. And at the moment they're on course for a big surprise in 1991. Well picked up by Davis again. Another good, deep, raking kick. But Vevers is underneath it. Great servant, Vevers. Came over with Malmeninger all those years ago, is still playing well. Unloading to Rapati. And in at dummy half. George Mann, those legs are pumping for all they're worth. Saints have got a spring in their step, Mike, and no wonder.
They certainly have, and I'm sure they're going to be sick and tired of seeing that Mann and Ward just keep pounding towards them.
Here he is again, Kevin Ward. Groves. Lachlan. Last tackle. Bishop. A high kick. Across field. And Hunt has it. And Hunt scored. A great try for St Helens. The high kick came in from Bishop. Widnes were all at sea in defence. Hunt was the first to react. He plucked it out of the sky and plunged over. And is that the try that will take St Helens back to Wembley to face Wigan? Alan Hunt's 19th try of the season, his 7th in 7 games.
Well, Widnes have only themselves to blame for this. Poor tackling got Bishop into that position to reef a wonderful bomb. Spruce was late getting to it. This guy certainly wasn't. Hunting for a try, no doubt about it. Look at this wonderful bomb. And look at the Widnes players turning round and saying to themselves, what can we do? Spruce moves up. He didn't jump correctly. This man did. And that should send them to Wembley.
Lachlan again from right in front. No problems. And we're midway through the second half of this Challenge Cup semi-final. And St Helens will look at that scoreline and believe now that they're 1 foot up Wembley way. St Helens 14, Widnes 2. Who would have believed it, Mike?
Well, you can see at the far end there, that far stand where most of the Widnes fans are. It's quiet, they're stunned, and so are the Widnes players. It's time to ring the changes. It's catch-up football from here on in now. They really have got to throw caution to the wind.
Rapati. Wonderful run from Rapati. Support there from Hunt. Alan Hunt just stumbled as he approached Spruce. And Doug Lawton has got big problems if this Widnes team of his is to get to Wembley this year. The league leaders, they've won 10 of their last 11 matches. This is the big one, though. This is the one they really wanted to win. And at the moment, they're 12 points adrift, and frankly, they look out of it.
They certainly do. They were out of sorts in the first half, but Eddie, they've turned to lickety all sorts. Oh!
Harrison with the break. He's going on his own, Harrison. How on earth did Spruce keep him out then? Groves says, get up onto your feet, big man. This is the last tackle. Groves' kick across. Well, no wonder the St Helens bench is on its feet. I don't think even they can believe it.
Well, I'm sure the St Helens player must be stunned. The mere fact that Widnes, they've just stopped tackling low. They're going far too high. They're allowing the player just to push them off, keep the ball alive.
Loughlin. He's having a field day. Loughlin. Bishop was steaming up in support. Desperate stuff. Who has it? Coloto. Well, this is going to go down as one of St Helens' great days if they hang on to this victory. 14-2 it is. It means, of course, that Widnes must score at least twice to get back in the game.
Not only that, Eddie, they've got to change their tactics. It's all right, these forwards rampaging through, but they've got to start throwing the link, missing men out. They've got to use the speed out wide. That's the reason why you see O'Fire and Devereux coming down the middle. They really have got to try everything now. Long balls.
Kicking game from Davis. Quirk has it right on the touchline. Curry has arrived, and Devereux, and they've got him. I can rarely remember one try-scoring opportunity that Widnes have made, and that's number 14, Stephen McCurry of Widnes, who's come on for the last 20 minutes. There he is. Phil Mackenzie, the man who's gone off. Mackenzie injured in trying to save that first St Helens try.
Well, I'm sure the hooker will be very disappointed. He hasn't had a great game. We haven't seen those darting runs that's made him famous from dummy half. And I think maybe that's one of the reasons why the forwards haven't been as prominent for the Widnes side.
Stuart Spruce for Widnes. They know now that it's catch-up football, it's desperate measures that are called for. But the St Helens supporters are singing all the way to Wembley. And a notice around the ground that the Widnes public are heading for the exits. Courier.
Well, surely Widnes will try something different. They have to. It's no good just piling through with these forwards. Courier there was caught moving across the park and really no support.
Davis. Bishop, oh, he's dropped it, but he got it back. Paul Bishop, Wembley last year with Warrington. He's about to emulate his father, Tommy, who played for Saints against Wigan in the 1966 final. That is, unless Widnes stage a dramatic comeback. Kevin Ward, what a game he's had.
But look at that, Eddie. 4 Widnes players, not one player attempted to go down for his legs. That's just playing into St Helens' way.
George Mann dropped that one. Devereux has it. Down the blind side comes Spruce. Good tackling, Loughlin. But Widnes again are turning the screw. Good ball, Richie Ayres. Six more. St Helens' foot went in then to try and rake the ball back at the play of the ball. There's Grimmer. Still Grimmer. Trying to unload straight to Bishop.
You can't blame him. He tried to keep the ball alive. As we mentioned, they're on the catch-up stage of football. Bishop was equal to the task.
Well, no wonder the St Helens supporters are singing. This is a happy hunting ground for them, Central Park, in semi-finals. They've only lost one semi here at Wigan, and that was against Leeds in 1977. And the way George Mann's running here, it doesn't look as though they're going to lose this one. Here's Les Quirk, and that's a great tackle from Devereux, and Devereux slides Quirk into touch.
Beautiful football from both sides. Devereux, a copybook tackle. I wish a lot of his Widnes friends would take a look at this, but this guy has had a top game. He just brushed past Faimola there. Look at the strength of the man. He's got plenty of speed. He's leaving the 3/4 away. Devereux went for man first and then finishes off with a super tackle.
Widnes with a slight advantage at the scrums. St Helens with the big advantage on the scoreboard. They're ahead 14 points to 2.
Well, at last they've moved Jonathan Davis to the 5/8 position. It's about time. Can he pull them out of this one?
Stephen McCurry in as acting halfback. O'Fire sets off. Grimmer. St Helens sticking to their guns. Referee shouts hell. There's a real argy-bargy between Grimmer and Ward. Meanwhile, Hume tries to set something going in midfield, but a great tackle again from Griffiths. This now is Andy Currier. He gives it to Sorensen. Sorensen screaming for support. Keeps it going to Devereux. Devereux hacks it out of play. It went out on the full. It was on the last tackle. Possession will automatically turn over.
Desperation there. You can see the Widnes side. Their heads are down. They look as though they've accepted the fact it's not going to be their year. Wembley is but a dream.
And Stuart Spruce, the 20-year-old fullback, in place of the fractured jawbone victim Alan Tate, needing some running repairs. Will carry on for the time being. The St Helens bench there preparing to bring on Mark Bailey. Fresh pair of legs to see out the last 10 minutes or so of this semi-final. George Mann. Now Groves. Keeps the ball alive beautifully to Cooper. Cooper finds Vivers. And now Ward, he shrugs Davies off. Here comes St Helens again. This is Rapati. Rapati finds Griffiths, and Griffiths has scored a quite magnificent try. And that is the try that will surely take St Helens to Wembley. 2 tries from Jonathan Griffiths, and that was the pick of the bunch. No wonder they're delighted. And what a moment for Jonathan Griffiths to turn in arguably one of his best performances in the professional ranks.
Good support play here. Now, if the Widnes fans have a photo of this guy, it must only be a headshot, because Widnes don't even know he's got legs. Not one went low again. Rapati did the right thing. He got it away before he was fully stopped to the ground, and Griffiths did the rest. But really, look at this. There's no point trying to go high with a man this strong. He's got legs, fellows. They don't realise it. He gets the ball away. Rapati does the right thing, commits spruce. Here he comes. Another Welsh wizard in for the double.
And Paul Loughlin has this kick to increase the lead still further. Not this time, though. Paul Loughlin misses for the first time this afternoon, but St Helens have a 16-point cushion, and Mike, that should be enough now to take them all the way.
No doubt about that, Eddie. And St Helens fully deserve their win. They should have scored more points in the first half. They didn't. They allowed Widnes the opportunity, but they didn't miss out in this last 40 minutes. I know a lot of people will say that Widnes without Tate and Myler, they were certainly weakened, but I'm afraid on this performance, especially in the tackling department, they didn't deserve to win.
Jonathan Davies limping heavily, you might have seen there at the kick-off. But the St Helens supporters now, well, they are beginning to start the party. Shoulder charge from Courier on Mann, but he doesn't manage to stop George Mann, and St Helens are coming forward again. This is the captain, Shane Cooper. He's had a good game too. In fact, you'd be hard-pushed, in my book, Mike, to find a man of the match from the St Helens team. They've all played superbly.
They certainly have, Griffiths especially, but my man is Mann. He's had a great game. Ward has been up there with the best.
Bishop, he's had such an influence on the game from scrum half, and there's a wonderful kick from Bishop, a punishing kick, taking play down towards the corner flag. Only 23 at Wembley last year with Warrington, beaten by Wigan. Looks like he might have another crack at them. And the St Helens replacement, Mark Bailey, waiting to come on.
Yes, you're certainly right there, Eddie. Bishop has all the characteristics of his father. He's been in everything. A fine game this afternoon.
Widnes have possession from the scrum, as you would expect, with head and feed, but they're right on their own try line, and not even a fire can get away from the St Helens ferocious tacklers today. Here's Sorensen. Well, you can say one thing about St Helens, their supporters today, they're in fine voice, but my word, their team has given them something to shout about.
It certainly has, and I'm sure the St Helens players now, they know they're going to Wembley, and they'll be telling Widnes all the niggling that will be going on in the last few minutes. And believe you me, there'll be plenty of that.
This is Bernard Dwyer for St Helens. Groves organising dummy half. Bishop nearly copped a high one from Grimmer, and Kevin Ward saw it, I think, taking the law into his own hands. Referee Holdsworth will have none of that. Groves, drop goal, another point St Helens. 19-2. Paul Groves with his first one-pointer of the season, and it gives the Saints even more breathing space.
Certainly does. The icing on the cake, the last thrust of the dagger, and this man, calm, cool and collected, adds an extra point.
Harrison. All the St Helens forwards have played superbly well today. Particularly this fellow. A pocket battleship on legs.
And once again, did they know that he had legs? No. There's an old saying in rugby league, if you don't tackle, you don't win.
Lachlan, the dummy half. St Helens flinging the ball round now with gay abandon. Trying every trick. Cooper. Griffiths, he's on a hat-trick. I think he fancies one. Keeps the ball going. Hunt. Still going, Alan Hunt. 5 minutes of this semi-final remaining. The gap is 17 points. It's a chasm. St Helens have really shocked a few people, Mike. I don't think anybody, other than their army of supporters, expected this.
No, and full credit to them. They really came out with all the guns blazing. A lot of people, including myself, didn't expect such a wonderful defensive display. And I thought that maybe they would run out of steam late in the game, but it's entirely the opposite. It's Widnes that look very down now.
Mackenzie. Davis with the kick ahead. Just to relieve the pressure. Beavers picks up, and he's directing traffic now. Well, it just shows you the confidence is flowing through this St Helens side.
Yes, they're just playing around with the Widnes.
George Mann. He'll take his time regaining his feet now.
I'm not surprised, he really has had a top game.
Harrison, so's he. Groves. Cooper, long pass to another of the heroes, Ward. Referee's whistle has sounded. It was the last tackle. Possession turns over automatically. And offside against St Helens at the play the ball.
Well, even with only minutes remaining, St Helens still keen to move forward quickly. They can afford to give away penalties now. They know it's in the can.
They're going to bring Bailey on for Lachlan. Mackenzie. McCurry juggling with it, clinging on though. Davis. Bishop read that perfectly and ducked under the tacklers, but couldn't get away from David Hume.
That really just epitomises how strong they have been in that defensive department. Bishop has been a sweeper for most of the game, so any short kicks over that he's been able to defuse.
Ward. Great ball to Vivas, but just forward. And the referee calling the Widnes physio on, holding up the clock.
Look at the strength of this man. He's in the twilight of his career. And once again, Widnes fall for that silly trick of going high on such a strong man. You can't afford to do that. Not against Kevin Ward, or not against any of these wonderful Saints forwards.
Lachlan takes a breather. These two sides will meet again, remarkably, on Monday in the league. The business of First Division points is next on the agenda for these two sides, and they play each other Monday. Richie Ayres is fit again. Doug Lawton will be so disappointed that this team of all talents, this team of superstars on their day, haven't got to Wembley. But St Helens, you can take nothing away from them. They thoroughly deserve their success.
They certainly do, but they've been helped by a Widnes side that really have not got it together. They didn't look fit to me. They certainly have no coordination. They've lacked a lot of leadership out there. No one's been calling the shots, and quite frankly, it'll be a bitterly disappointed dressing room after the game.
Well, in injury time, St Helens have got just seconds to wait, and they will then know that their trip to Wembley is confirmed. Sorensen, they're not giving in yet. And Jonathan Griffiths has been named the man of the match, presumably for the true tries that he scored to help take Saints to Wembley. You could have had any one from 1 to 13. They've all been heroes in the red and white today, but Griffiths the man who takes the award. Deep into injury time, the Saints supporters want the celebrations to begin. A fire goes without the ball. Mann says he'll have it. Now Rapati. Knock on from Mark Bailey. To scrum down. St Helens fans impatient with the timekeepers. Widnes have won the scrums easily. St Helens have won the match easily. But they've done their job superbly. One or two of the Widnes players look to be carrying injuries as we reach the full-time siren. Still a few matches to go in the First Division campaign. They lead the table. They have that left now, that consolation. And they have an almighty collision with Wigan here at Central Park on Tuesday, April the 9th. Davis's kick ahead.
Well, a lot of this crowd came to see the magic of Davis, but really has been overshadowed by the magic of Griffiths this afternoon. A disappointed man.
And there's the siren. He will be bitterly, bitterly disappointed. But St Helens will be totally elated. But assistant coach there, Frank Barrow, and Mike McLennan, the New Zealander, has taken St Helens to Wembley. They've beaten Widnes by 19 points to 2. That's the way it finished. Just the one goal from Jonathan Davis. 3 tries to St Helens, 2 for Jonathan Griffiths, 1 for Alan Hunt, 3 goals from Loughlin, and the drop goal from Groves. It was tight at half-time. St Helens have won it in the second 40 minutes. So the next rugby league here on the Sports Channel is on Thursday. It's our Australian night, 8 o'clock. And the big match we've got for you is Canberra against Brisbane. The Raiders against the Broncos, Thursday night at 8 o'clock. Next Sunday, we'll be back to the British game, Wigan against Castleford, a match that could decide the championship. But a big day here for St Helens. They're at Wembley, and we'll be with them too on the 27th of April. From Mike and me, goodbye.
I was. Come back so I can tell you. Oh, don't die before I can tell you. All that matters is us. Being together. That's all. If you think of what you said to me that day, you can stay alive, Emil. I know you can. Think of what you said. When you find your true love, when you feel her call you across, and fly to her side, and make her your own. Live, Emil. Live. 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 Live.
Miss Ness. Please. Please, Miss Ness. Where is Miss Helen Cable?
Who are you?
I am mother of Leot.
Who?
Leot. She won't marry no one but Lieutenant Cable.
Oh, my darling.
All right, here it is. All those outfits are waiting for loading. Please keep in position. We'll be loading immediately.
Hey, Billis, let's head back, huh? Our outfit's about a mile back down the beach. Suppose they call our names.
Yeah, they may be ready for us to board the ship.
They won't be ready for ours yet. This is the Navy. Ha, look at that beach. Swarming with eager beavers. 10,000 guys.
All right, you men. Stay down there with your own unit where you belong. You Seabees, you belong down the beach this way.
Excuse me, sir. Can you tell me where I can find Captain Brackett, sir?
Down the beach this way.
Thank you, sir. That's all. I beg your pardon, sir. Can I speak to you a moment, sir?
Who is it?
Billis, sir. Luther Billis?
Yes, Billis. What is it? We're moving out now.
I know, sir. Stupot, the professor, and me was wondering if anything is being done about rescuing the Frenchman off that island. We hereby volunteer for such a project. A triple diversionary activity, like I done to get him on there. You could drop us in 3 rubber boats on 3 different sides of the island. Confuse them out of their minds. Get the picture?
That's very fine, Billis, but you're too late. Operation Alligator is underway. Landings were made on a bunch of Japanese-held islands during the night and early this morning. Marie-Louise Island was the first one they hit.
How about that Frenchman? Did they get him? Is he alive?
We don't know. Lieutenant Buzz Adams flew up there to find out. But it would be just too bad if a part of this huge operation couldn't have saved one of the 2 guys who made it all possible.
The big ones are battleships, and the little ones are destroyers.
They're moving out, you see, because, well, there's been a big change. They won't be around here much anymore. Just off and on. A few of us. Did you understand anything I said? Vous
Manger comprenez pas?
Oui, oui, nous comprenons. Oui.
Now, while I'm down at the hospital, you've got to promise me to manger everything. Everything that's put before you on the table. Sur les tables. Sur les tables?
Sur la table.
Oh, sur la table. Merci. Jerome, come back here and sit down. Asseyez-vous. Now, you have to learn to mind me when I talk to you and be nice to me, too. Because I love you very much. Je t'aime. Je vous aime. Now, mangez.
Santé, Nelly.
I will not sing that song. You just want to laugh at my French accent. All right. But you've got to help me. Dites-moi pourquoi la vie est belle. La vie est belle. Dites-moi pourquoi. Pourquoi what?
La vie est gaie. Dites-moi pourquoi, chère mademoiselle, est-ce que
LA Law returns to Granada with some changes in the air.
I can only assume you've thought this through.
I have to do this.
Will you come back?
I don't know.
I don't want to play house. I want to get married.
Don't want to get married. Because if you love somebody, you're not supposed to kiss anybody else.
This is happening too fast.
The objection is overruled.
I need you, Grace, but I'll do whatever I can to get you.
LA Law returns Thursday at 9.
Next on Granada, the results service.
Happiness is a cigar called Hamlet. The mild cigar.
When the heat is on and the pace is slow, there's a cool, fresh world where you can go. Clear, crisp, and light. The shit tastes just right. A twist of lemon for a taste sensation. A squeeze of lime is the perfect combination. Clear, crisp, and light. The shit tastes just right. Clear, crisp, and light. The shit tastes just right. Old iron!
Any old iron, any old iron, any old iron. If rusty railings give you heart failings, you go to the state, don't hesitate. Grab yourself a brush, protect against rust. One coat is all you need, oh. Course everything's right with Hammerite on iron, on iron. Rusty red, cooker looks bad, you know what to rely on. It's gotta be right with Hammerite on iron, on iron. It's gotta be right with Hammerite on iron, on iron. Stick it on your drain pipe, all right.
Turn a day out into a great adventure. For a magical day to remember, Camelot Adventure Theme Park at Charlotte Richard near Preston, just off the M6.
The first petrol to gain the AA seal of approval for its performance has also won the approval of millions of motorists for its quality gifts. Esso, a special kind of animal.
I wonder if I could interest you in our aluminium double-glazed... A lovely door. It's a pity about your windows. Now we're back. When it comes to double glazing, you will find that we're amazing, and you know we... Hello? Is your dad double glazing at all? I'm really a teacher. Don't suppose you'd be interested in...
Yes. Come in. Let's talk.
Time for a sharp exit. Time for a cool, sharp harp.
I've finished for the day. But would you be interested in a half-price executive booking?
Bank Holiday Monday, Roger Moore is James Bond.
He comes again. He brings violence and destruction.
Action's hot for Bank Holiday Monday.
Now on Granada, the results service.
An unexpected twist in the championship stakes. A scoring role for Roy Wegley as QPR win at Anfield. So Arsenal regained the initiative where Liverpool hit the heights last week. Alan Smith at Derby. A glimmer of hope for Sunderland Smith. Manager Dennis, a win at last. And Sheffield United do it again. Glyn Hodges against Luton. It's played 9, won 8. Very good afternoon on this day when Oxford, yet again, won the boat race, but it's a lot tighter in the championship. Let's have a check on all the scores and scorers and see how many games are confirmed. Well, one of the most important, that's a definite scoreline from Anfield. Liverpool 1, Queen's Park Rangers 3. Les Ferdinand, with his 7th goal in 7 games, put Queen's Park Rangers in front, and then Roy Wegley made it 2. Jan Molby got a penalty for Liverpool in the second half, and then Clive Wilson, who came on as substitute for Queen's Park Rangers, made it 3. Still not confirmed from the baseball ground. 2 for Alan Smith against bottom place Derby, and still no confirmation of the scoreline at Roker Park. Sunderland 2, Crystal Palace 1. Kieran Brady scored first for Sunderland. Alan Pardew equalised for the Palace, and the winner there from David Rush. Sheffield United 2, Luton 1. Lars Elstrup put Luton in front, his first goal for 10 weeks. That was after 11 minutes. And then Ian Bryson, with his 4th in 5 games, equalised. The winner from Glyn Hodges, who starts a 6-match ban after today. Manchester City 3, Southampton 2. It's still not confirmed at White Hart Main Road either, and quite a game as well. Matt Le Tissier scored first for Southampton. That was after 47 minutes, all the goals coming in the second half. Clive Allen and Mark Brennan for City, Russell Osman for Southampton, and the latest goal scorer is David White. Graham Taylor watching that match. Aston Villa 1, Everton 2. Everton's new Polish international, Robert Warzicka, scored after 2 minutes. He got a second in the second half, and then David Platt scored for Villa, his 5th in 3 games. They've only lost 1 at home. Tottenham 2, Coventry 2. Coventry, who went into that match with the worst away record in the First Division. David Smith after 9 minutes, Kevin Gallagher after 19. But then a goal just before half-time by Naeem, and then another by the same player, earned Tottenham a point, but they have gone 2 months without a league win. Chelsea 1, Leeds United 2. Carl Schutt and Chris Fairclough for Leeds. Graham Lasso for Chelsea after 90 minutes. They've only won 1 in 10. Wimbledon 3, Nottingham Forest 1. Tony Loughlin, a 21-year-old making his league debut, scored after just a minute for Nottingham Forest, but then John Fashanu, with his 16th in the First Division this season, equalised. Paul McGee, after 53, made it 2-1, and then Andy Clark, Wimbledon's fairly recent signing from non-league Barnet, made it 3-1. And finally, Norwich 0, Manchester United 3. Well, rather than me tell you about that, we can actually see the goals from Carrow Road, where the commentator's Martin Tyler. Alex Ferguson's first ever win for Manchester United at Norwich, and watched there by the Prime Minister, John Major. Here's the action.
Manchester United trying to put behind them an unhappy sequence of results on this ground, an unhappy sequence of failure. Oh, and they've got a great goal from their former Norwich City player, Steve Bruce. And would you believe that's his 15th of the season? Webb. He'll get it again. It's within shooting range. It's found the bottom corner.